Like, you just have to want more. Confidence is a skill. Working is a skill. All of the things are skills, but you have to have the heart and you have to have the willingness. We are disrupting patterns. Welcome to the Sparkle Podcast for overcoming ambitious women. You may be single, married, have kids, or don't have kids. Either way, you're showing up and doing your very best to rise above adversity. Here, we're going to have real conversations. I'm opening up on real life, real time situations that we can relate on. All the things. We are going to tackle situations head on, get real about them, and have strategic, intentional action steps to conquer and to overcome so we can rise and sparkle. My name is Portia Franklin, wifey, entrepreneur, and homeschooling mama, raising kingdom warriors, encouraging us ambitious, overcoming women to love and lead ourselves well. We believe in God and pray in the name of Jesus. Hey, welcome to the Sparkle Podcast, or welcome back. I'm so excited that you're here. Per usual, I'm so excited. I just want to chit chat with you today in regards to being an ambitious mom and like what I've gone through. And I'm just really just want to start sharing all of the things. I mean, gosh, not everyone is like, I'm going to do this and, start before you have kids and you gain a really amazing foundation, and then you have kids and it makes sense and everything's pretty much go with the flow. You bring in the child, and if you're worried, if you are a mom, say you were a young mom like me, I had my first daughter at 15. And I really learned a lot about life. I had an amazing, supportive mom. And then I had my second child at the age of 21. And I learned a lot through my first child's life in the beginning when I figured out that, graduating high school was kind of an important thing to me. And I wanted to be a mom. That was an important thing to me. And I wanted to make money to support my baby and give her the life that I dreamed of. And that was important to me. But I couldn't do all three of those things and be successful at them all. And so I tried to do homeschool and be a mom. Okay, so I tried to do these two things. I did homeschool and I tried to work and then, be the mom that I wanted to be. And I fell behind in school greatly. So my senior year, I had 6 or 7 classes. It was crazy. I was in school from, 6 a.m. And usually your senior year, you're getting out at lunchtime, you're driving to the beach with your friends and you're living your best life, right? Well, quite different for me because things just kind of laid out. God had other plans. God had other plans for me. And so I worked extremely hard because I fell behind my sophomore, junior year trying to do homeschool, half working and all of that. Felt greatly behind, and so I had to make up some classes because graduating in the summer just wasn't an option for me. I literally had, and I knew that I needed to graduate, before I even had a deep relationship with the Lord. I just knew that for my family line, I needed to graduate because my mom and my sister didn't get their high school diploma. They didn't have a cap and gown. They got GEDs. And so this was something that was very important to me, that for my daughter, I wanted her to know that you could and you can do anything you put your mind to. And so I had 7 or 8 classes my senior year, and I graduated on time with my class. Again, they were like, don't worry, you don't have to, stress yourself out. You can graduate in the summer, after your class. And I was like, that's just, again, not an option for me. I'm going to do this. So I had weekend classes. I had after school classes. I had after school classes that were after the class. So all of the things. And literally on my graduation day, I was in my history class taking a test. And I took the test, and I don't even know if I honestly passed it or not. The teacher looked at me and said, "Get out of here, go graduate. You did it." So there was favor upon my life. There was an ambition in my heart to make it happen. And, some people say you have it or you don't. But I want to tell you today if you're in a position that you're not loving, maybe you were a young mom, or maybe you're a new mom, and maybe you're a single mom that's struggling because of a bad relationship, I want to encourage you that you don't have to be a statistic. You can rise and shine, and you can be exactly what you want to be if you decide. And that is where the will comes in for more. Like, you just have to want more. Confidence is a skill. Working is a skill. All of the things are skills, but you have to have the heart and you have to have the willingness. So if you don't have the willingness, that's difficult. But if you have the willingness to learn and rise up and say, if I think I can, because what you think about, you bring about. And it is the saying, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you're right. Are you willing to have a mind shift and say, you know what? I'm not a victim. I'm a victorious woman who has the favor of God and support from, if you have support, if you have one person to support you, and even if that one person is me, because you're listening to this and you connect with me on Instagram and I can be the person to support you, you are fully supported in making a different choice. And even if it's you supporting yourself, but you have to make a choice to go, I want better things. I want more for my life. This is not the end all be all for me. I know there's more. So that's where I was in life. And it's challenging because if you're a young mom and you want more. And so like my second daughter came around and I learned a lot, going back to the story. I learned a lot of what I didn't want my second time. And just a shout out, if you're a child listening to this, your parents are doing their best. They're learning as they go. There's and if you're a mom, you're just please give yourself grace. We don't know what we don't know, and we're learning as we go. And so that is the greatest experience is the greatest education, okay? Because it gives you authority, and I can stand here and tell you that I did things that didn't work, and I'm now doing things as a mom the second time around with 2 new babies. They're 5 and 6, but still, this second time around, I got a second chance. And so I learned a few things that didn't work. And so I stand here to tell you that, I have a little bit of life experience that gives me authority to feed into your life today, to pour in some wisdom. But as a 15-year-old mother, I did some things that I wouldn't have, I just wouldn't want to do that again. You know what I'm saying? So when my second daughter came, I was like, okay, we're going to do this a little bit different. Okay, we're going to do this a little bit different. Though the relationships, yes, that's plural, with my 2 first daughters, those relationships did not succeed. My children have the opportunity to make a choice, right? So that's a whole nother podcast in itself. But my second child, I decided to do things a little different. And so I actually became an entrepreneur before I knew what the word entrepreneur was, or self-employed, if you will, whatever your definition of self-employment or entrepreneurship is. I believe it's somebody that makes a position for themselves and creates an income. That's entrepreneurship to me. And so I decided, because I missed out on a lot of my first daughter, which is that's very traumatic for a child, and will be, that's another podcast in itself. But for my second child, I didn't want to miss out on her life like I did with my first. And so I decided to get licensed as a child care provider, create an environment in my apartment that was suitable to be licensed. A licensed childcare provider in my little apartment. It was so cute. I really, really was proud of it. And we were Quality Care with Portia Mango. That was my very first business. And in that business, I taught myself how to create websites for myself and how to make social media. And so I was doing all of that digital stuff quite early on when my daughter was 4 years old. My second daughter was 4 years old. And so I was home with her until she went to kindergarten. And yeah, so I created opportunity for myself. And so with that being said, where are you at in your life? Are you ambitious? Are you willing? Do you want more? Are you dreaming of something? Is there a burning desire in your heart that you want to create a different scenario in your life? Because you can. And that's the podcast today. You can, you will, and you must. If you have a burning desire, you can. You just need to will it and go after it and make it happen, right? And it's easier said than done, I know. And that's why I started this podcast, is because I want to be an encouragement. I want to be somebody to grab hands with you and say, come on, girl, you can do this. I know you can do this. It's very, very hard. But if you have somebody to hold your hands up like Moses did, then you can make it happen and you can have the victory. You don't have to be the statistic. You don't have, no matter what happened in your past, you are not your past. And I know that there's a lot of healing that goes with, moving through some things that have happened in your past to give yourself permission to succeed. And there's, it's a case by case base with every woman, and we all have our stuff. But I want you to know that you're not alone and that you can do it with the right support. So if you're listening to this, please reach out to me on Instagram and we can chat. I'm really wanting to have more of these conversations. Of course, wherever this is going to lead. But if this resonates with you, please let me know. But that's a really quick podcast today on that topic of you don't have to be the statistic, and you can, and you will, and you must. You can do whatever you want if you have the will to say yes, and you must go after it, right? So, that's it that I have. You can do it. I hope my story, if it helped you or if you resonate at all with anything that I shared today, screenshot this episode and tag me on Instagram at Portia.Franklin. And I would love to connect with you and see how this podcast is supporting you in this amazing life that we live. If you have 2 seconds, hit the 5-star and leave that 5-star review. If you have an extra minute, write a little blurb about how this podcast has supported you in any absolute way. And if you know anybody that it would, speak to, send it on over. Just click that share button and copy the link and send it on over to your bestie who may be a benefit of this episode. And I thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have an amazing day. And remember that you can if you think you can, and you will, and you must go after that thing that is burning in your heart. You can do it, and I believe in you. I'll talk to you soon.